In one of the most bizarre crossover stories for a long time, it's been revealed Lewis Hamilton has joined a bid to buy Chelsea Football Club. The 7-time Formula 1 world champion has a host of non-motorsport interests, so we shouldn't be surprised whenever he crops up connected to an extracurricular activity. But even by Hamilton's standards, an active F1 driver trying to become a part owner of one of the biggest football clubs in the world is quite left field. Chelsea is one of the most successful Premier League sides of this century, enjoying the best period in its history under the ownership of Roman Abramovich. Since Abramovich bought the club in 2003, Chelsea has become a massive force domestically and abroad. The Roll of Honour in the last 2 decades includes 5 Premier League titles and winning the UEFA Champions League twice, alongside a host of other tournament successes. But being owned by a Russian oligarch has its downsides these days. Abramovich had to put the club up for sale in March this year amid the fallout from Russian President Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine. The club was subsequently seized by the UK government as part of its sanctions against Abramovich, who is accused of being close to Putin. So where does Hamilton fit into this? American investment firm Rain Group has been tasked with selling Chelsea and recently whittled down the applicants to a 4-party shortlist that has fallen to 3 after one of those groups withdrew. 2 of the remaining groups are headed by the owners of Major League Baseball and NBA franchises respectively, while Hamilton has joined the consortium led by British businessman Martin Broughton. While Broughton is a lifelong Chelsea fan, one of the reasons Hamilton's involvement is surprising is that he is a fan of Chelsea's London rival Arsenal. Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel actually made a joke about that when he learned Hamilton was involved in the bid, as coincidentally Arsenal had beaten Chelsea 4-2 just a few days before. Hamilton has been an Arsenal supporter since he was a kid, but says he has a long-standing family link to the Blues as well, having attended games with his Chelsea supporting uncle. Club allegiances aside, the main reason Hamilton has been enticed into this proposal is precisely because he is a football fan. Remembering a childhood spent collecting stickers and trading cards based on the English top division, Hamilton spoke warmly about his love of the sport and said he was shocked to have the chance to get involved with one of the biggest clubs in the world. The consortium Hamilton is a part of also includes tennis legend Serena Williams, who he is friends with. Hamilton said they discussed the project together and that helped encourage Williams to join in. While the specific act of a current F1 driver trying to help buy a football club is unusual, it's hardly out of character for Hamilton to engage with a completely different world outside F1. He is involved in various non-F1 initiatives, both commercial and charitable, and has often talked about a desire to set himself up to have other interests when his racing career ends. He said the chance to be part of a bid to buy Chelsea fits in with that, especially as he is still racing and therefore any role he would have will be limited in the short term. While Hamilton has an obvious personal interest in the potential ownership as a football fan, it is primarily a business decision and a rare opportunity to get involved in one of the biggest clubs in world football. But while the F1 world Hamilton knows so well is entering a period where teams are profit-making organisations, things aren't quite so bright in football. Chelsea is one of many major clubs that posts huge losses each year, most recently recording a £153.4 million loss for the year ending June 30th, 2021. That was exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, but it has been a common theme, with Abramovich loaning the club £1.5 billion over the years in total, although he has said that does not need to be repaid. Having been pitched the business plan by Broughton himself over the phone, Hamilton said the goal is to slowly decrease losses and turn it into a profit-making organisation, as well as continue to compete as one of English football's top sides domestically and in Europe. But if the numbers are correct and Hamilton and Williams are contributing around £10 million each to the bid, the reality is they are not the consortium's financial firepower. So they will not be shaping the package that's been presented to Rain and Chelsea, nor will they really be defining elements in whether the bid is accepted. The involvement of global superstars mainly adds gloss to what is already a serious and impressive consortium, which is why it's been selected as part of this shortlist in the first place. But But that doesn't mean Hamilton cannot have influence, especially as he says this ties in with other objectives he has, particularly in diversity and inclusion. We know this is something Hamilton has been at the forefront of in F1, but also in collaborations with Mercedes and fashion mogul Tommy Hilfiger. It's unlikely that Hamilton would become a Chelsea diversity ambassador or be single-handedly outlining policies, but he would almost certainly take an active role in any diversity work. And as it is something he and Williams are both passionate about, their presence lends a degree of credibility to any community outreach that the Broughton Consortium would promise to commit to. That is likely to chime with those at the heart of the club, not least first team manager Tuchel, who made it clear he is an admirer of Hamilton and Williams for what they do outside of their respective sports, not just their successes. Tuchel said he was reluctant to comment further because he had no insight into the process, but he will not need to wait long to find out if Chelsea will come into the hands of those he has such admiration for. Hamilton and his fellow consortium members may even learn who has been chosen as the preferred bidder as early as this week. But as he's still not given up hope of an 8th World Championship and has a contract with Mercedes to the end of next year, Hamilton has bigger priorities to worry about in the meantime.